Hey, it's me again. Hey, guess what? I made a mistake. I'm gonna share it with you. So mad at myself, but I was able to fix it. So I just want to share that with you today. So stick around and watch me paint this beautiful, I'll call it my Fabergé egg. Perfect for Easter. All you gotta do is make a little egg shape and fill it with flowers. Perfect, right? Trying to pump it up. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, everyone. Kelly here. Did my workout this morning. I'm feeling pretty good, but I wanted to share with you yesterday wasn't so good. Made a mistake. Yes, we all do it, right? And it's just about growing from that mistake and either learning from it or, fixing it. Like, what can I do to fix it? What can I do differently? Today I thought I would kind of work on my florals again, and perfect timing for Easter. So I'm making this cute little like Fabergé Easter egg. So I started off with my Rosa paints again, just give them a nice little spritz. And now when I'm starting this, I really have no idea how this is going to go. I can't decide if I want to leave the background of it just plain or if I actually just want to leave it white. So as I'm creating it, I'm making those decisions, and I have to tell you a little story when we get near the end here. Not so funny. I was a little upset with myself, but I started out with just a light sketch. So if you are frustrated when you're sketching, don't try to keep erasing when you're working with your sketches. Just get those basic shapes in there. And you can see I went around that circle a bunch of times. Making an egg shape is not easy. Unless you have like a stencil or something that's shaped just like it where you can trace it. So freehand is a little bit more difficult. So I get in that basic shape and then I erase those lines, and then I'm just going to try to shape it up just a little bit more. It's not going to be perfect. It is done by hand, so don't get too heady about it. And we're going to fill this up with flowers anyway, so the illusion will still be that egg shape. Okay, so I think I pretty much have it. Again, I'm going to try to erase those lines. I don't want to leave the pencil lines in here, so I'm going to be trying to be careful to stay inside the lines. I don't have my masking fluid or anything, so just be careful as you're doing it. Just try to stay within those lines, but still be able to be loose. So if I was at home, I probably still wouldn't use masking fluid anyway. It's just the way I am. I just we're just gonna go for it. So you can see I had a little green in my yellow, didn't like that, so I just took my tissue paper and lifted it right out while it was still wet, and I'm gonna clean that up and go in with a little bit fresher yellow. Again, I'm using my dagger brush. This is how I've been creating these really loose florals, just making blobs. They are really no particular shape. As I'm starting in, I'm just kind of plugging in where I want some of those main flowers to go in the composition. Again, this was the first time trying this, so I am really experimenting here. I've grabbed some of the darker purple now, that violet shade, and I'm going in with a little bit more details now. That purple one's had some time to dry. You can see the difference where I'm hitting the wet area here on the pink one or red one. And it's still blooming a little bit. This is not moving quite as much, so I'm going to add just a little bit more water and a little bit more to it, see if I can get it to move. Oops, got a spot up there. We'll take that right out. And I'm going to go back to the yellow, and let's try a little orange. And you can see I'm making those little wispy marks down the bottom. These flowers are kind of sitting in different directions. I've got a lot of water on that one, so I'm just going to soak up some of that with my tissue. And it's going to leave, look at that texture. It's kind of a cool texture, almost like it's on fire, doesn't it? So I'm just going to go back in there, add a little bit more of that orange. Again, trying to, give the illusion of some petal shapes here. Okay, that looks okay. I'm happy with that. Let's create a little blue. Again, trying just to pick out some different colors. I don't know if I'm gonna like the color combo. I'm kind of using everything here, but we'll see if we can tie this all in together. This is a great thing about experimenting, playing, trying something a couple of times. I'm really learning that because when I did my seascapes, I would really, very rarely do things twice, the same scene. And even with these, I mean, you can't paint the same flower twice. So, but you know, flowers just seem to be more spontaneous for me. I can kind of dig in there, try a bunch of stuff. And I found that, you know, doing this loosely has really helped me so much with the flowers, because I had struggled for years and now I'm having fun with it. And that just shows you what play does. It makes it much more fun. And I don't care if I mess up. It's okay. So I added a couple more. I don't know if those are like little lavenders maybe, or a lupin. I don't know. Just kind of on that shape. These are, I don't know what these little flowers are. I'm trying to remember what they're called. They're like little wildflower type things. I don't know the name of my flowers, and it doesn't matter because I'm not trying to paint an exact flower. These are just from my imagination, just shapes that I like. So I am just playing with my colors here, just again testing out stuff, seeing what I like. I'm gonna go ahead and see if that is still wet enough. It is, and it's gonna bloom a little bit. This purple one's a little drier up here. Just gonna create a little center in those flowers. You can see how that blooms and that moves. Again, timing with painting is everything, and the only way that you get better at that is by practicing that timing. And remember, different brushes are going to hold different amounts of water. Some brushes have natural hair fibers, some have synthetic fibers, and those are going to do things differently. So by knowing your supplies and your brushes, that's important. When you get a new brush, play with it, try it, see what it's going to do. Mixing your pigments, again, some pigments, different brands have stronger pigment in it, much brighter, vibrant colors. The Rosa kit here are quite vibrant, as you can see. The Vivia is also another bright one. I don't know if those are dye-based or not. I haven't been able to look that up. But they say that these are color fast, so they should hold up. And I've been using the Rosa paints now for a few years. Of course, you know, my stuff is not sitting out in the sunshine, and usually when I frame my work, I try to frame it in under UV glass, or recommend it's framed in UV glass. Obviously UV glass is much more expensive, so you can always hang it in something that's not getting a lot of direct sunlight too. So you can see I'm just playing. So grab yourself a piece of paper, just sketch that little shape in for your Easter egg, and start throwing some little flowers in there. Just try different patterns, different shapes. Play with it, see what you get. And again, I'm adding a little bit more darker values. Remember, you have to kind of let that get to that point where it's dry enough, but not too dry, if you want it to have a little bit of blending. I am going to go in here in a second. I'm going to dry this though, because I want to go ahead and put some darker layers in here. You can see how that's still moving around, so it's still blending. It still softens it. And before putting more leaves or anything in there, I'm gonna go ahead and dry this. Trying just to fill in around some of that white space. I'm trying not to fill in all of the white space. You can tend to get carried away though. That's a great time too. If you are struggling with, you know, when to stop, step back, give it a quick blow dry. And as you're blow drying it, sometimes like I'll get little thoughts in my head. Like, ooh, I need a leaf here, I need another flower here, I need to put this color in. So when you're blow drying, you can take that time to give your eyes a break and come back to it. All right, so it's all dry now. I'm back. I'm trying to mix up some kind of a blue, green, brown shade. You can see my paints are really getting low here too. I have got to order some more. I've got a little bit more time left. See if I can manage to use what I have. So I'm going in with some darker stems now. Again, this is all dry, so I can go with a deeper value. That is still kind of watery, so I'm going to add a little bit more pigment to it. Tap off some of that excess. Look how much water that one's holding. There we go. So it's not moving around quite as much. And pop a few little leaves and stems in here. I'm, again, being very messy, just playing around with it. I'm going to use a little bit of black Sharpie with this one to really kind of tie it in together. Sometimes if I have the darker colors, I like to use the black Sharpie. If I'm doing really light ones, sometimes I don't like the Sharpie. Just depends on my mood. With or without is good. Keep in mind with watercolors, you know, you want to start with your lightest shades first and add darker values as you go along with each glaze or each wash that you place on it. That one needed just a little bit more yellow. You can see where that was still damp there, but I love how that blends. It just gives that, again, that looseness when you accidentally touch a little part of an area that's not supposed to be there. And that just blends so softly in there. It creates a nice little automatic shadow in that orange flower. And now for some little final details. I'm just taking my black Sharpie and I am just kind of outlining, and I start to get a little crazy in here and really start to go for it. I'm having a lot of fun, and I can, you know, put the little details in the leaves, maybe give it a little bit more shape for some of these leaf shapes here and some of the flowers. So I'm just going to outline these, just do a little doodling. Doodling is so much fun. I love to doodle. So I find that this part really relaxing. If you can't tell even by my voice, I'm just, you know, just relaxing, just doodling around and really, again, enjoying the process. So I can't wait to see your Fabergé eggs. Make sure that you share them here in the group. I would love to see them. I have to tell you, and I'll share it with you too at the end here, what happened with this. Now I'm like finishing the doodle and I really like the looks of it. I went ahead and I do erase the lines from the egg shape here, and then I thought, well, you know, I had that gold, so I thought I would use the back side of my brush, so see if I can get more of a round shape. So I'm just going to dot it in there, and that did work a little bit better. I still had to maneuver it a little bit, so I'm just adding a little shine to some of the centers of the flowers. And I felt like I just needed a little bit more, like just having 3 little dots just wasn't quite cutting it, so I popped a little bit more in. I'm looking for them now, like some of these other smaller ones, and just to brighten them up and to give it a little more oomph. So I was about done here, and I'll share with you the results. But then what happened, I was taking photographs of the picture, and I got some gold on the white of my background. How pretty that was, and then I smeared it. So this is what I did. You know, you can't help when you mess things up. You can see the little gold on the edge there. So then I was like, well, all right, let's just add a little bit more of the gold here. I was starting out doing like a shape of another type of vine or something, and it just wasn't quite cutting it. So you can see where I start to give up here. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna just do like a little bit of a textured type background to this. And I figured, you know what, if I don't like this, and I'm gonna kind of sit on it for a little while, I don't really care for it, I can very easily cut around the agate shape itself and mount that onto a cardstock, or I can cut a portion of it, maybe so it's not quite so much gold. Again, you know, that's really what experimenting is all about. How do you know if you don't like something if you don't try it? So I cleaned off the edge of the brush and it looks pretty. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think I should take the gold off, just cut the circle out, the egg part, leave some of the gold there, make a card out of it? I don't know. I would love to hear your opinions, your thoughts. So I hope that was helpful for you. You know, just coming out, trying different things if things don't work out is really a big part of being creative. So don't get frustrated. See what else you can do with it. I've got plenty of pieces that I've cut up, made into cards or made into bookmarks or made into gift tags. There's always something that you can do with your pieces, so never throw them out. You can always go back and work on them as well. I wanted to mention to you quickly before you go, we do have our workshop that's scheduled for March 7th, so if you're watching this before that time, you can still join us. If you're watching afterward, we're gonna have it up for replay, up for 12 months so you can watch it, but it's gonna be so much fun. I will link all of the information down below for you. Hope to have you. It's gonna be a great time. All right, bye for now. And the camera cuts, energy levels drop, relaxation in.